Hello, this is Chris Haskell from They Live by Film. For those that don't know us, Adam, Zach, and we built a podcast over the last 2 years that's a combination of film discussion from three very different perspectives, as well as industry interviews with the leaders in boutique Blu-ray and 4K community. We started with Dev Crocodile, but over time we've been lucky enough to speak with Arrow Video, Severin, Mondo Macabro, Vinegar Syndrome, Radiance, Indicator, most of the OCN partner labels. It's been a blast. You can find us wherever you podcast, and also actually recently as part of Someone's Favorite Production Podcast Network. We hope to see you online.
Hello and welcome to Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys. My name is Hunter. In this podcast, I'll be joined by a different guest each week to discuss a classic Western movie or TV show. I've been a fan of classic Westerns for as long as I can remember, and in recent years, they've become very nostalgic for me. I love the aesthetic, the tropes, and I love seeing different filmmakers' takes on them. At their best, they're incredibly entertaining, rewatchable, and some of my all-time favorite movies are Westerns. We'll mostly focus on Western movies made in Hollywood, but we'll also be covering spaghetti Westerns, and one thing I'm very excited to get into are Western TV shows. I've got some amazing guests coming on the show, film professors, historians, and podcasters, and Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys is part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, and many guests on the show will be from other shows on the network. Thanks for listening.
We're in Way Media.
Welcome back to Midnight Viewing, where this season we're taking a look at George A. Romero's 1980s series, Tales from the Darkside. Sharing the Midnight View with me are the projection booth's Mike White.
You don't know Yattering.
And the Culture Cast, Chris Stachiw.
You know what they say, everybody. Que sera, sera.
Tonight, we're taking a look at the next two episodes of Season 4, the final season of Tales from the Darkside. Those are The Yattering and Jack and Seymourlama. The Yattering and Jack is Season 4, Episode 7. It aired originally on November the 8th, 1987, written by Clive Barker, from a short story by Clive Barker, directed by David Odell, starring Phil Fondacaro. Under the Rainbow was his first film. Something Wicked This Way Comes he was in. Return of the Jedi, Willow, Phantasm 2, The Doors, The Last Action Hero. We saw him twice on Tales from the Crypt. And he was in Bordello of Blood. He was a recurring villain on Sabrina the Teenage Witch. He's the voice of Big Figure in the new Watchmen animated comic. And that's quite a fucking resume. Anyway, that's Phil. Also starring Anthony Carbone, Tom Newman, and Danielle Brisebois. That is Oscar nominee Danielle Brisebois for original song 2015. A song called The Lost Stars from the movie Begin Again. This is the story of a minor demon who is tasked with breaking the spirit of a seemingly unflappable gherkin salesman. What'd you think of this one, Mike?
Ooh, it's going to be kind of a theme here with this could have been done a lot quicker. I'm not going to say the words blackout skit. Oh, shit, I just did. So this is what Clive Barker was up to back in the day, huh? Okay. I don't know what it was about Anthony Carbone, who was frozen so solid it took him 2 days to thaw him out to do the autopsy, I believe. But with Carbone, his voice sounded so much like Darren McGavin, and at times he looked like Darren McGavin. And I just kept spending this entire episode thinking, man, I wish this was Darren McGavin. I like a good demon episode. I like a good devil episode. But this isn't a good demon or devil episode for me. It just was like, I like Phil Fondacaro a lot, and I was really excited to see his name in the credits. I was excited every time that he was on screen. It kind of reminded me of that like little throwaway thing that happened on the young ones when Neil accidentally summoned, well, I can't remember the gentleman's name, who was like the main guy from Time Bandits, but he summoned a demon named Fatumsh, and he showed up and was doing all these little dastardly things. But it was a throwaway gag. That's what this one is for me too. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of this one. What'd you think, Chris?
For this being as from one gay man to another gay man's thing that he wrote, not gay men here. Not that I know of, anyways, or you guys haven't taken advantage of it. This is not as gay as I was expecting it to be with Clive Barker in the title. I know, obviously, 87 wasn't expecting any homosexual undertones or overtones. So once there was the lack of gay with Clive Barker, because Clive Barker and gay go together like peanut butter and jelly, I thought this was, yeah, like you said, Mike, it was yeah, man, blackout sketch, everybody. Look, it's the thing that's weird for me is that the twist is that he knew the whole time and we're not in on it until the end. And he's such a good liar that we're supposed to be like, well, he's actually just like a psychopath, it turns out. I guess that's the moral of the story is like the psychopath outwits the devil. And more aptly, I guess the demon, less the devil. But look, I thought it was fun. And yeah, Anthony Carbone does look like Darren McGavin. And I honestly thought it was Darren McGavin, but it's not. But it would have been fun if it had been. So we could just think about that for a second. It's still fun. It's just like you could have said the same amount in less time. Father Malone?
You didn't find both Beelzebub and the Yatterings outfits to be the gayest thing that they could possibly had in 1987 on television and
Yes.
Sunday night at 7 p.m.? Are you out of your fucking gourd, man? Like this
I needed
only
more
reaffirmed to
leather
me.
chest straps and rings on the little on Phil Fondacaro's chest. You know what I mean?
No,
Some
well, you
nipple,
just get
nipple rings going. Yeah.
Yeah,
you'd get that later in the year when Hellraiser came out. So
that's true.
let's face it, Clive Barker really popularized very subtly S&M gear and behavior for an entire generation. This episode, now look, when Clive Barker hit the scene, he hit the scene really fucking hard with the Books of Blood because Stephen King very generously said, I've seen the future of horror and his name is Clive Barker. And then suddenly every horror fan was buying those books and eating them up one after another. Now, this is his first adaptation in America. By then, he had written an adaptation of his story Rawhead Rex, which is a terrible fucking film, and he tried to take his name off of it. He had written a movie called Underworld, which is separate from everything. But this is the first adaptation of any of the short stories, certainly the first adaptation of any of the Books of Blood. So I had already read it by then. I'm a huge Clive Barker fan. If you read the short story, it's a slow escalation over time. And what you're witnessing is this guy who you believe, as the demon believes, that this is just the most oblivious motherfucker on earth. He is the modern Candide. Everything is fine. Oh, the cat blew up. It must have been the dogs. Stupid dogs. Now I'll bury the cat. That kind of a thing. The problem here with this episode is Anthony Carbone, because I never once believed that he isn't fully aware of what's going on and he isn't stifling rage. He just seems angry. So it undermines this idea, because if that's actually how he is, if he actually is angry and just stifling it slightly, then the ending makes no sense when we find out he's known the whole time. He should have acted even cooler the whole time. And that's what's great about the short story. And that's why the short story works and why this is so fucking bad. Plus, the stuff the thing is doing is so outrageous that you can't just say, nothing's happening. When the dead turkey flies up onto the top of the Christmas tree and is flapping around, and he's, I don't know, probably the wind. Let's have hot chocolate, honey. It's no, sir. That doesn't work. It might work on the page, and it does work on the page, but it doesn't work visually. It's just so insane.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't work, and it could have. And that's like you said, like it. I guess with hindsight, rewatching it, it's obviously then his behavior seems a little bit more like, oh, okay, I'm just ignoring this horse shit that's going on. But the first watch through, it makes very little sense. A literal turkey a literal raw turkey literally jumps on top of a Christmas tree and spins in a circle. It's a great visual.
Yeah.
We get one of the greatest visuals I think I've ever seen involving a raw piece of poultry since Peter Gabriel had one dance in his Sledgehammer music video. That's what we're
From the same
operating
era.
at. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But this is absurd, and it's making a turkey gobbling noise at the same time. Like it's a great visual, and that's like the best part of this episode is that visual. Like the moment he walks into his house and the mirror cracks, he's just the foundation's just settling. I see. No,
Yeah. Must be
Fuck
that
no.
foundation over and over. It's come up with different
What?
excuses, you know?
It's swamp gas. I tell you, swamp
You know, it's
gas.
funny in the short story, as he lived in London and it takes place in England initially, the English phrase for that is subsidence. Instead of saying the house is settling, he just kept saying subsidence over and over again. Just one of those English phrases. I don't know, like flat or fucking tube.
I've never heard of that before, so that's very good to know. I'm chuffed to know that.
Yeah, right. Chuff.
Have
Which
either
I
of you-
always thought that meant I was pissed off.
I did too. And no, it just means like I'm super proud of you. Have either of you in any of your years had carolers come to your house?
Maybe once. Maybe.
One time when I lived in Minneapolis and Phil Hartman was my next door neighbor and I didn't get my child a Christmas present and I was out and I
Oh.
came back and the Christmas present was
my God.
underneath Phil Hartman's tree.
It's too early
That's
in the
when-
year.
that's
to
when
talk
I had
about Jingle All
carolers.
the Way. Let me say.
But that's the only
Put
other
those
time
cookies
I
down.
No. I can't think of another time I've seen carolers in anything other than Jingle All the Way. Are carolers real? Is that a real thing? Did anybody do that outside of Scrooge's time? Did people just do it then to get out of the house?
It seems like it's a novelty that can still occur these days, but it doesn't happen with the regularity that it happens in short stories and in television shows.
Would
That's for
you
sure.
go and walk around your neighborhood and sing at Christmas time?
If I got to dress up in period costume, you're fucking A right, I would. And I got to pick the carols.
Right, yes. And if I got some figgy pudding.
Oh, yeah, man.
You guys put a lot of qualifiers on it. I don't think in Las Vegas anybody's putting figgy pudding on anything, and I don't think anyone would open their door for you if you showed up looking like a caroler, especially if you looked like, and I'm just quoting the Bible here, some sort of 14th century Ponce. I just don't think it would I would love to see it. I would open the door for you, but I'm not sure I'd expect you to start singing.
Remember, I'm not starting this league. I would be joining.
Not starting this the Carolers League.
Yeah.
I love the idea that it's also the coffee can for the homeless.
Yeah, something for the homeless. Sure, here's a smattering of change. Oh, he's really got the Christmas spirit.
It's really good. You'll go far, kid, with your like 35 cents that he gave. I'm sure they're gonna take it down at the local soup kitchen and go, "Fucking thanks for nothing." What is this? Take a penny, leave a penny.
You know-
I wanted this to be better than it was, but it's also a comedy bit. This show and comedy don't go well together, and like anthology shows in general, it's very iffy. This is the iffiest of equations here, is the comedy equation with these kinds of shows.
And this is a short story writer who fell into short story writing because originally he was a playwright until he burned himself out on that and he could no longer paint. And then wrote a bunch of short stories and gave it to his agent who put this book out. And then suddenly he's doing this and he's writing screenplays. Considering where he is in his career, I think the story is great. And I encourage everyone to go back and reread the Books of Blood. But this is terrible. I really liked Beelzebub, Tom Newman. I thought his performance was good.
Has he been in here before?
This is his first Tales from the Dark Side.
Stephen King is someone who I always say, he has such great short stories and he just know how to end like a big story.
Catch me on the next episode, why don't you?
But the thing about this short story is, like you just mentioned, Father Malone, I actually really love Clive Barker's short stories. Books of Blood is amazing. Like in terms of the compilation of short stories, it's great. So
6 volumes.
right, exactly. Like it's not just, it's a fair amount. And
It's so
For
funny
all-
because if you look at critical reappraisal of Clive Barker, they focus almost wholly on his novels. which admittedly he hasn't done any short story work since Books of Blood, but it is almost exclusively like Imagica and Weave World and Cabal. But it's rare that the Books of Blood ever get mentioned anymore, when at the time it was just like, it was all the rage. I owned all of them.
Well, and that's the thing. Like I learned about Clive Barker through Hellraiser, which was a novella, and then I read the short stories with Books of Blood. And when I went to the first and only time I've ever been to Texas Frightmare Weekend, I brought my copy of Books of Blood with me to get it signed. And then I didn't want to wait 5 hours to meet Clive Barker because they didn't advertise ahead of time you'd have to wait in a 5-hour line to meet him, which was fucking insane. So I have a very like personal affinity for Books of Blood, and when I saw Clive Barker's name on this, I was just like, oh God, oh no. And it does in fact lead me down that path of like his stuff. The best person to adapt Clive Barker stuff, I think, might be either Clive Barker or someone who gets his stuff inherently and you don't have to explain it to him. Because if you have to explain Clive Barker to someone and what his deal is, most people aren't going to be into it. He's like a very specific flavor of horror.
Clive Barker needs a Mike Flanagan.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah. And he hasn't had one, and he does not count. He cannot count for himself because Hellraiser's amazing. Directed the fucking thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a visual stylist.
Right.
Above all, he's been painting now for 25, 30 years, and his paintings are just fucking incredible. That's mainly what he's been doing, those in novels. And he was in a coma, and he's effectively not left his house for
right, which is such a bummer now that I'm like, I wish I kind of had waited in a 5-hour lines, nothing now.
When I was 18, I waited in a 5-hour line, and I got him to sign my copy of Imagica. And I asked him, are we going to get a sequel to Nightbreed? And he looked me in the eye and said, it's on the way, I promise. He fucking liar. You liar.
Hey, man, that's a good one. That is a good one. Nightbreed is a good one. But yeah, I don't think that's happening.
Probably not. There is a sequel novel, however.
There's
there's
true.
A sequel to Cabal. So I encourage everyone to go check that out. All right. From the ridiculous to the more ridiculous. Seymourlama, Season 4, Episode 8, aired originally on November the 15th, 1987. This is written by Harvey Jacobs and David Woolner from a story by Harvey Jacobs, directed by Bruce Dolan, starring Divine, J.D. Roth, Kathleen Doyle, David Gale, and Kathy Lipinski. Oh boy, they found the new llama. He's in suburbia, and he likes to knit. And his dad is sometimes a head on a dish. Chris, what you think of this one? Yeah, Chris, I'm gonna throw this one at you. Like, deal with Divine as Chung Fang.
So first off, have never seen Divine in anything. So I'm not.
What?
What?
Correct. So
wow.
As far as I know, Divine only plays Chinese men.
Hand in your gay papers.
Wait a second. I've heard of this before. The gay police.
That's right.
Are you the gay police? Or are you policing the gay?
Yeah. No, they're currently in Washington, D.C. Don't worry. They'll be coming your way soon.
Right. One can only hope. No. So again, like, I'm a baby gay per the gay community. I've only been out for 5 years. So I'm still coming to terms with my gayness and also watching like gay things. I haven't gotten to John Waters yet. Like, I would say sue me. In this day and age, don't. I have no money, so don't do it. I was going to say this is the first time I've actually mistaken David Gale for the right actor, because there have been so many times I've been like, that's the guy from Reanimator. And it's not. This is the first time I was like, that's the guy from Reanimator. And when I looked it up, I was like, that was the guy from Reanimator. So many times I've seen tall, white, gaunt actors with his look and complexion and gone, that's the guy from Reanimator, only to learn it's not. This is the first time it was. Guess what, though? This is... Woof! The last episode was bad. This is interminable. For fuck's sake. Mike, you and I and our friend Richard Haddam of Richard Haddam's Paranormal Bookshelf covered The King and I on Rankin on Bass. And there was a lot of racism there, Chinese racism, at the hand of Daryl Hammond doing an Asian accent the entire movie, like a chopsaki Asian accent. This wasn't that bad, but it was close, and it was also just again, a blackout sketch. Like what a the gag at the end is so dinky and dumb, and the whole setup is bogus at times. I get what they're going for, but it's just
Have you said
not.
blackout sketch yet?
Yeah,
Yeah,
God,
he did. Yeah.
it is the
Yeah.
blackout sketch to end all blackout sketches, almost like the last one was. Where I'm like, you know what? Like, you could have explained the joke in the first 5 seconds, and we would have had it. Like down pat, we got it. They think that God is in this house, but he's actually in the one next door. They did
Here's
that
the
in
actual
European
one panel.
Vacation.
They're carrying him out, and he says, "Oh wait, no, this is such and such. Drop him.
Right, right.
This is
Like
the wrong
Right.
address. Drop him."
Exactly.
The end.
we're the Griswolds and
Yeah.
we're looking for sex. That's the fucking from European Vacation. The same.
Right.
They take that gag all the way till they build that one out and they get some mileage out of it. But with this, like the whole episode, come on. Nah, I'm good. It's just I don't know. I wasn't here for it. It was not for me. So I'm very curious what Mike White has to say.
It was remarkable that they could let this thing drag on for as long as it did. I was just so surprised because it's just one joke that they're doing for 22 minutes. And yeah, you've got us built up to the punchline. And I could have, like you said, I could have had that within 3 minutes. This whole thing. Oh, we're here to find the new llama. It's the opening of Life of Brian with the three wise men, and they find Brian in the stable with his mom and dad, and then they realize, oh no, the star's over there. So they come back and they take all the gifts and then run out and they go to Jesus's manger. That's what this is. And they settled that with very, very little. It was great how Brian's mom was just like, oh, I don't really need the myrrh, but if you got more gold, that'd be great, kind of thing. I wasn't necessarily offended. I kind of liked Divine with those big white eyebrows that she's got on and all that. And the very lascivious, what was her name? Madame Wu that's with,
Yeah.
with them. But yeah, Seymour was just a dinkus. I kind of wanted him to be even more of a dweeb. Just really go for it, kid, but just wasn't very good. And then I was trying to figure out the relationship between the dad and him and the mom and him. And I'm just like, what is this family dynamic? Do they hate their son? That would be something if they just if the dad just hated the son's guts so much, and then he has to sing a whole different tune, and they threaten to kill him because he's insulted the new llama and stuff, but it comes of nothing. Yeah, I can't say that I'm a big fan of this one either.
I'd like to clarify.
Chris,
I'd like to
you
clarify.
really need
Not
to watch some John Waters films.
I do need to watch John Waters films. I'd like to clarify. Not offended. More offended that I had to watch a 23-minute long episode that was attempting to be funny by doing the same gag
Yeah.
over and over. Nothing offends me at this point.
I
Especially
didn't
not
see you
Divine.
clutching your pearls.
No,
Yes.
I wasn't clutching them.
This is the first time I've ever seen David Gale as a good guy. And at the start, like I was enjoying this character where he's like listening to the wind outside. This is the second Christmas episode in a row, by the way. And the second episode that
in November, which was very odd.
Exactly, that they consigned to November. I think it seems like Tales from the Darkside after Seasons of Belief was really scared to offend people actually on the day. They ended up dumping these here in November. But yeah, no, he's those are the voices of hell out there. I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is going to be a fun family. And then Seymour, who is a fucking dickhead, comes down. The dynamic here is that I think the mom is adoring Seymour. The dad barely tolerates him, but the dad is wearing the sweater that he's been knitted by the sun. Oh boy, here's my favorite part where Divine is constantly over-explaining things. And at one point he says, last night we spent at the Holiday Inn. It was so hot, we had to open the window, but the window wouldn't open. There was glass everywhere. And that's it. So he's just full of these weird little non sequiturs. Like that kept me going through the episode. And just seeing Divine doing anything always makes me laugh. And I think, yeah, I'm not offended necessarily. It doesn't seem like there's punching down going on at all here. It seems like if anyone's the butt of the joke, it's this fucking family. Nevertheless, I know this is the stupidest nitpicking of things, but like a scimitar, why would he have a scimitar if they were from Tibet anyway?
Wait, low poo, Father Malone. Low
poo, right?
Low poo, everybody.
Oof.
How many times can we go to that well?
Yeah.
Huh? How many times can we lower ourselves to that to that level of idiot shit joke.
I
My
did like the
God.
joke. We're giving you this rice, and then they give him this like leather-bound tome, and they say, "Is this a holy book?" He says, "No, recipes for the rice."
No, the best part about this episode is Divine with the fucking one-liners, and that's it. But I didn't need that. Like, I can clearly go watch other things that they have worked on, like John Waters, apparently. So I don't have to watch this. If this is like a poor facsimile of those things too, I'm sure. So it almost feels like, once again, the people whose talents are on screen are better than what they're being given.
This episode made me think that David Gale and Fritz Weaver should have played brothers in something.
Thank you. I always
That's
said
who
that
it
Fritz
was.
Weaver looks so much like David Gale. We were covering Demon Seed, I think Fritz Weaver is in, and I was just like, oh yeah, he's so good in Reanimator. And it's like, no, that's not the same guy. I'm like, okay, yeah, all these years I thought that they were the same person.
Like Harrison Ford and Steve Martin should have played brothers when they were younger.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah, especially before Steve's hair turned.
I like that by the end of it, we're led to believe that they're going to beat the shit out of their son and put him in the ICU.
For at least 2 weeks.
How long do we have? 2 weeks. What the fuck? They're gonna jump him in. They're gonna clock him.
They're lucky
Gonna
that's
get
all
him.
that they're lucky that's all that's happening. What made me crazy is like, okay, so they're gonna do everything the son says, and the Divine and Madame Wu, Kathy Lipinski, are carrying out his every order. But at a certain point, he's like, go over there and eat my father's beloved baseball cards. And now we're going to take those cards and we're going to destroy them. And it's, yeah, okay, I get that you guys are going to do everything that the kid says and we've signed him over to you, but he's not doing everything that he says around here. Take him and leave.
I would have
Use
liked
that
that.
scimitar on him.
Yeah, fuck that kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the end of it, I was like, all right, he deserves it. He's an asshole.
Biter gets bitten. We're going to see that some more soon. On the next episode of Midnight Viewing, we'll be taking a look at the next 2 episodes of season 4. Those are Sorry, Right Number, and Payment Overdue. Midnight Viewing is a proud member of a Weirding Way media group, and our theme song was composed by HP with an assist by Donald Rubenstein. Until next time, what are you working on? Where can people find it, Mike White?
Pretty much everything that I do is available on the Weirding Way Media Network, which is available at weirdingwaymedia.com, except the one thing that Chris and I do on a monthly basis, which is a little series about James Bond, and that's available via our respective Patreons. But yeah, come on over to weirdingwaymedia.com. You don't have to pay for anything, and you get a whole lot of enjoyment. How about you, Chris Stachiw?
If you want to know what I do, it's weirdingwaymedia.com. Like Father Malone and Mike both already alluded to, Weirding Way Media is the place where we post everything we work on. So that's where you can go. And you should go there. And if you're not there already, you should be there soon. Get on the sandworm and come on down and join us.
Get on the bus.
It's a Dune thing. And I
I'll chew
figured
on a
out by-
dog. It's also a Beetlejuice thing. As for me, head on over to patreon.com/Father Malone. You're going to get episodes early and commercial free, and shows that, are just Patreon only, like HP Hates Me, where my partner HP picks terrible fucking entertainment to make my brain explode. Every Monday, we've got Father Malone's weekly roundup. That's where I take a look at whatever's newest in streaming and theatrical. And every Friday, it is rotating. You're listening to this show. It's Tales from the Dark Side. We also have a Fusco Fest going on. We have a Yaucha Fest going on, where HP and I are looking at the Predator movies. And inspired by this episode, actually, gentlemen, I'm going to be taking a look at all of the films adapted from the Books of Blood. Clive Barker. It's going to be a Books of Blood Fest. So that'll be coming soon, probably in October. Until next time, thank you all for joining us here at Midnight Viewing. Try to enjoy the daylight, everybody.
Do you love movies? So do I. What's up, y'all? It's KB, and I love movies, inviting you to listen to The Conversation, a film podcast where passion meets perspective and opinion. From the old school to the new, I invite a guest on to discuss the movies that thrill us, challenge us, break our hearts, or even blow our minds. There's always new episodes dropping wherever you get your podcasts. So join the conversation. We don't just watch movies. We love talking about them too. The Conversation with KB Loves Movies, a part of Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.